You walk through a curtain. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of characters. A dimension of monsters. A dimension of bad mocking decisions. You enter an arena of shadow and substance abuse, of hammerlocks and arm drags. A chaotic circus full of theater and violence. It is the middle ground between kayfabe and reality. It lies between the plains of cringe and the summit of high art. It is an arena we call the Spooky Scary Wrestling Halloween Video Zone.
Generation X, just your average suburban men, like you or your neighbor. Nothing out of the ordinary about them. Road Dog Jesse James, a better sports entertainer than Bret Hart. Mr. Ass Billy Gunn, a man with a fancy for fannies. X-Pac, an adult film star. And Triple H, the fearless leader and WWE champion. No, nothing unusual about them. Until they decided to spend one Thursday evening trying to take control over their place of business.
We're taking over!
Threatening the boss. Kidnapping a co-worker.
Just hide your gun! Get out of here, bitch!
Rocks in the trunk, where are they going?
Ganging up and beating a former friend.
One attack by degenerating. Oh, forget King friendship. Just wanted a friend. Look at this.
Yes, these four gentlemen were looking forward to a night of diversion and recreation. If they only knew what was stalking them in the empty, liminal spaces of the backstage area.
What?
Stone Cold Steve Austin was watching from the shadows. Woo! What could be worse than being hunted down by a violent, crazy, drunk, bionic redneck? It wasn't long until members of DX would start to fall victim to the demented Ridge Runner. Road Dog Jesse James will be the first casualty when he was caught in the Predator's bear trap, taunting the D.O.G., pouring beer over the wound with a sick delight, leaving Dog squealing like a pig.
I go backstage, I set a bear trap, thinking I'm going to catch a bear, and I catch a jackass.
The next to go down, or should I say up, was Mr. Ass, when he activated a snare that was laid out for the hunter's prey.
Badass Billy Gunn. They ought to call you dumbass Billy Gunn because you fall for the old narrow on the ground trick and you're hanging upside down back there.
The paranoia was setting in as the group retreated to their locker room. The theory that there was safety in numbers would be tested when X-Pac received a phone call from his tormentor, tricking Pac into Austin's trap, where a section of ceiling was dropped on his head, burying X-Pac in rubble.
I give you the old Casey Kasem line. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. You look up and down, the whole ceiling falls down on your little sorry ass.
It was time to go on the offensive. DX made their way down to the ring, surrounded by thousands of people with the numbers advantage. Triple H called their stalker out of the darkness and into the light. But old Stone Cold had one more trick up his sleeveless vest. After cutting a monologue on the quartet,
you come out here and say you're the game, that you're taking over the World Wrestling Federation. Well, that just ain't gonna happen. You silly
a giant net fell down from the rafters.
Austin is netting
Austin took the opportunity to go on the attack. Followed by Kane
Kane is back! The X, look out! Kane!
and The Rock.
Not The Rock, too!
The trio had their way with those poor city slickers. Unfortunately, there was no Burt Reynolds coming to save him.
The entry you are about to see is the account of the tragedy that befell a WWE champion. In particular, Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero. It is all the more tragic that he would lose his belt in 2 months' time. But if he had a very, very long title reign, the WWE Universe could not have expected, nor would have wished to see the mad, macabre botch they saw that night. For them, an idyllic pay-per-view main event became a nightmare. The events of that night would lead to the bloodiest match to ever take place in the annals of wrestling history. The Judgment Day Steel Chair Massacre. May 16th, 2024. Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. WWE Judgment Day pay-per-view. The beloved WWE champion, Eddie Guerrero, found himself defending his title against the brass, egotistical JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. A normal B-show main event was about to become a slasher film. With blood flowing as if an elevator opened in the Overlook Hotel, or Carrie was on stage at prom. An unconfident champion and a challenger trying to fight his way out of the lower card would do anything to prove they belonged in their main event spots. Unfortunately, they may have went a bit too far. After JBL hit Eddie with one of the most disgusting, unprotected chair shots to the head you will ever see. Eddie would use a razor blade to make the blood start flowing. Cutting way too deep, Eddie sliced an artery in his forehead, resulting in his blood pouring from his head like water from a faucet. JBL would continue to beat the champion around the ring. The crimson plasm pooled everywhere they went, covering the ring apron, JBL's white cowboy hat, and steel chairs. The match continued in the ring, where Eddie's blood would stain and drench the canvas, losing more with every beat of his heart. The match should have stopped instantly, but the two kept going. Every second they continued, the closer Eddie got to literally losing his life from blood loss. 5 minutes after the botched blade job, there was no sign of the flow from stopping. Even after Eddie was DQ'd and the match was over, there was just more blood to come. The victim would become the perpetrator, as Eddie would hit JBL with the title belt multiple times, and with the same chair, causing JBL to bleed as well. By the end, the arena looked like a crime scene. According to Layfield, Guerrero collapsed backstage and was rushed to the hospital for a blood transfusion. This was, in all sense of the term, a bloodbath.
Once upon a time, in a land named Smackdown, there was a would-be king who would soon wear the crown. Booker T with his queen Charmel would rule the ring from bell to bell. He reigned as the champion of the USA, until losing it to a monster whose name we dare not say. Upset and distraught, his heart full of pain, the future king would whine, moan, and complain. His hubris and pride, while throwing a fit, would awaken a demon from the bottomless pit. A creature, a thing, who would scare with a jest, wiggling and squirming like the worms he digest. He'd carry a clock and a staff made of wood. A strange enigma no one understood. After winning his match and beating 2 dicks, he set his sights on Booker, playing a dastardly trick. Chasing him off and making him squirm, the boogeyman would pour out his bag full of worms. Week after week, every turn they would take, the monster would appear, leaving terror in his wake. The queen was frightened and paranoid to boot. She even protected herself with a beekeeper's suit. The couple were haunted by this terrible curse. But things have just started. It would only get worse. One evening while Booker was in midst of a battle, something would happen that would make your bones rattle. The boogeyman slithered from under the ring and kidnapped Charmel, the love of the king. The frantic Booker searched the land of Smackdown for that evil, devilish, monstrous clown. Through doors, through hallways, he searched low and high until something disturbing caught his royal eye. A trail of worms. Should he follow? Would he dare? This must have been the way to the monster's lair. When he entered, he would find a terrible sight. The queen was surrounded by crawlers of the night. Booker grabbed his wife and ran like the wind. The boogeyman watched from a distance and grinned. The mind games and stalking were too much to bear. It was time for this to be settled in the ring that is square. At the 22nd WrestleMania, the Kingdom's yearly event, the couple would face the thing that caused their torment. Shaking and crying, Charmel was in tears, being so close to the monster that manifests her fears. But from behind, her man would attack, hitting his foe with a kick and a whack. After a strike below the belt and his finishing move, it looked as if Booker was getting his groove. But the creature fought back and took down his foe, then reached for a snack in his pocket he stowed. There was an opening. As the monster had a feast, the queen had a chance to take down this great beast. Holding her breath, raising the staff in the air, just for the boogeyman to turn and glare. Freezing Charmel with Medusa's stare, what would come next was the ultimate scare. A moment so horrific that was sure to dement. The monster kissed the queen without her consent. Disgusting night crawlers pressed against her face. She's lucky boogeyman didn't go for second base. How cruel, how crass, what a devious trick. Wait a minute, please, I think I'm going to be sick. Charmel ran to the back, abandoning her man, to be pinned by the creature for the 3-second tam. Did Booker learn his lesson? Did he comprehend the moral of the story? Would he grow to be a king that understands reverence and glory? Did the run-in with the monster make him stop to reflect? Did it teach him the meaning of humility and respect? Has he evolved from the man he was just a time ago? In short, to be frank, the answer is no. But watch out when you whine and throw a fit. The boogeyman may be watching from the bottomless pit.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
Run, don't walk, from the Monster Mash Battle Royal. New York City, the epicenter for this Kaiju fight, will never be the same. The earth will shake, buildings will crumble. Starring the devil's favorite demon, Kane. The Punjabi giant, Great Kali. The 500-pound behemoth, Big Daddy V. The world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Which kaiju will be the last standing, and will the city survive the Monster Mash Battle Royale?
Punches were thrown, slaps were dealt, man flap jiggled. There's not much to say about this battle. It's what you would expect with 4 beasts this size. One by one the monsters fell until Mark Henry stood tall among the rubble. That's about it. Happy Halloween!
Hello, kiddies. I want to thank you for joining us in our retelling of some spine-tingling tales from the crypt under Titan Towers. Now be nice boys and gals and give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, or else you'll get a visit from me this Halloween, and I'm not up for a treat. Please share your favorite blood-chilling wrestling tale in the comments section down below. Until next time, creepers, keep your feet on the mat and your spine off the pine.